August. On the first day of 2021, Sammy Potter, a college student from Yarmouth, set out with a friend and classmate on an extraordinarily ambitious trip. Their goal was to hike America's three great hiking trails, the Appalachian, Continental Divide, and Pacific Crest Trails, in one calendar year.
If they succeeded in covering those 8,000 miles, they would become the youngest people ever to complete what's known in hiking as the calendar year Triple Crown. They did it, finishing their trek a week and a half ago on the Pacific Crest Trail near Medford, Oregon.
We first talked with Sammy Potter a few days before he started this journey, and we've checked back in with him every few months as he's completed the Appalachian and Continental Divide trails. Now, he's finally back home in Yarmouth, and we got together for a final conversation about what he has accomplished. The first thing we talked about is perhaps the single most crucial thing for a long-distance hiker: taking care of your feet.
There were times in the year, especially early on, when I didn't understand how important that was, when I really let that lapse. And I got like literally 4 blisters on top of each other. So I got a blister, and then because of the way my foot was moving around, I got a blister on top of that blister, and then that happened 2 more times. You know, that was just like so painful to walk on. I was taking 4 Advil a day and still just wincing every time I was walking.
In all, how many days were you on one of the 3 trails?
Yeah, January 1st to October 22nd. January 1st at 6:55 a.m. to October 22nd at 4:16 p.m. is when we officially finished. So 295 days total.
During that 295-day span, there were only 11 or 12 days when Sammy Potter and Jackson Parell didn't hike, usually because they were sick or traveling from one trail to another. Which means when they were on the 3 trails, they averaged 28 miles a day, regardless of the weather, always carrying packs, often through mountainous terrain with substantial elevation changes.
The physical toll is one thing. The mental and emotional challenge is something completely different.
Yeah, I went up and down a lot. You know, at the beginning, you're kind of in this honeymoon period where you've been preparing for so long, and this is what we're doing. It's so exciting. Everyone's wishing us well. Our families are happy. And then you kind of get, 2 weeks in, and it's kind of like, for lack of a better term, it's like a oh shit moment. Like, oh man, we're doing this for not 2 weeks. Like, we're doing this for 10 months. Like, I don't know what that's gonna be like. And that's really uncharted mental territory. But the biggest thing for me was like the fact that I genuinely love hiking, love camping, love being 60 miles away from any road. Like, if I didn't love that, like, there's no way we could have made it to. There's no way we would have finished it. It was really for us about just loving the process.
Of the 3, Appalachian Trail, Continental Divide, Pacific Crest, which was your favorite?
Rob, come on, is that even a question, man? It's got to be the AT. Yeah, no doubt about it, definitely the AT. It's like everything you would want in a trail. It's challenging, it's rewarding, it's fun, it's like really gnarly, super rocky, craggy, and then everything up north of like the Green Mountains in Vermont is just the most amazing wildlife you can imagine.
All of the interviews that I've done with you, I've focused on you because you're the main guy. But you did this every step of the way with your friend and classmate, Jackson Parell.
Yeah.
And we haven't really talked about him
Yeah.
or what it was like for you guys to be practically joined at the hip on this entire expedition. What was that like?
From morning to nighttime, and even at nighttime, because we shared a tent for 90% of the trek, we were together. And, Jackson was just like literally the best partner that I could ask for. Incredibly upbeat, so funny, like, yeah, he's such a special dude, and I couldn't be more grateful for him.
What's the one food that you ate so much of over the last 10 months that you don't want to see again?
Yeah, I'm never eating almonds again.
In particular, on those last few weeks when you guys were doing enormous mileage, like 35 miles a day,
yeah,
and you're just burning out so many calories, how much were you eating?
6,000 calories a day. And
was it enough?
I definitely still lost weight. Yeah, it was enough temporarily, but to be doing that mileage at that rate for much longer than that, our bodies would have started eating our muscles. So we finished just in time, and now I'm trying to gain some weight back, which is I think going to go fine. But 6,000, like I can't eat more than that. I was so full.
What did you eat yesterday in the way of ice cream?
Oh yeah, I crushed 3 like individual pints of Ben & Jerry's yesterday. And honestly, I felt like after that I could go for another.
And you slept how much the other night?
14 hours.
So you guys are now officially the youngest hikers ever to have completed the calendar year Triple Crown. Mm-hmm. How does that make you feel?
I think, oddly enough, I was like way more hyped about setting a record at the beginning of the year than the end. Because now, you know, we have such a rich experience that we've had, and the journey itself is, to me, what was like so important. Setting a record is awesome, but it's really just a catchy soundbite, you know.
You've had a truly remarkable experience, the experience of a lifetime. How has it changed you?
Sammy paused, silent, thinking for a full 30 seconds before answering.
I think the biggest thing I took away from this year is just leading life with a really large sense of gratitude for my family, for the people I get to spend time with, for specifically these 3 trails, but nature around us. You know, we like to say like, oh, we really sent it, we went really hard, but we never use words like we conquered these trails, or we, you know, we crushed it, or like, you know, we beat this mountain or something like that. Like nature allows us to move through it and allows us to live among it, and that's something we need to cherish and be incredibly grateful for.
I've heard a lot of stories from people who have completed something epic like this.
Yeah.
And they get home to the normal day-to-day existence, and it feels like a letdown. How has it felt for you in the last week?
Yeah, we call that post-trail depression. For me, you know, I just, it's been so long since I saw my family. Like, there's no way that was gonna disappoint me. Like, seeing my mom for the first time, I was so happy, and am still so happy. I can already tell though, and I think I mentioned this to you before, that I'm missing the trail. I'm missing the like adventurous aspect, and waking up not really knowing what the day is gonna be like. So yeah, it's not gonna be long before I'm itching to be back adventuring again.
And he's already got plans for some more adventuring. He wants to do some winter hiking in Maine.
Okay.
Because he wants to sharpen his winter hiking and winter camping skills.
Right, of course.
And then he'll be going back to Stanford University in January and picking up with the new semester. And he's probably going to take a break and do some other kind of big adventure before he graduates from college. So stay tuned.
Now's the time to pack in the adventures. I love that you have followed along on this journey too.
It's been really fun. You know, I really didn't think that the odds were very good that they would be able to do it within the calendar year, because you run into snow, of course, in the 8,000-foot mountains out west. But they did it. They did it, and that's what matters. And he and Jackson are still buddies. They, in fact, are going to be roommates when they get back to college.
I mean, how do you live with anyone else after that? Coming up on 207, the Maine Jewish Film Festival is about to kick off its 22nd year. What's new and different?
Oh, so
Find out when we
traditional,
come back.
and it alludes to